I think is a lot of fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. I couldn't be happier for this moment to be here. And the last interview with Rob was absolutely amazing. He has such a great energy, doesn't he? He is.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely crazy. I can't wait to see him in New York for the NFT NYC. It's gonna be amazing. I hear that you guys are organizing a karaoke night, something like that.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah. It's
huge?
my. It's going to be the second one we did. We did one in November, and it was God, it was super fun. And we had there's probably like 50 people or so, and it was a great turnout. And now it's going to be like twice as big at least. So
Damn.
word's getting around that it was like there's all these like parties and stuff you
Yeah.
go to, but this was like the anti-party where like
Mhm.
you hang out and you have fun, but you're also being silly and singing songs. So yeah, I can't wait.
What type of songs are like you and Robness the types of? I feel oddly because probably it's not even him, but I'm just picturing Robness choosing a song like California Girls or something like that. It's
Yeah,
just like absolutely weird.
yeah. You know what? I've actually never met Rob in person yet. Somehow we're both in California, and we're on different sides of the state. So whenever I make it down to his place, I try to say hi, but we've never met. So we're gonna meet in New York. But I sing like a lot of classic rock or like
Damn.
grunge rock. I love. I could only imagine some magic that Rob will bring. I have no idea.
I'm a big fan of Linkin Park, Rise Against.
Nice.
Oh
Cool.
yes, yes.
Cool.
Many people don't even know like the some of the albums of Linkin Park. They stop at Numb, they stop at the end. But some of the stuff they've done in the past, when they come for me, all that stuff. Those albums are absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
It's
I fall into that category, but I love Chester's voice, and they're all brilliant. Mike Shinoda, they're all brilliant musicians. So I
I
think,
love Mike Shinoda so
yeah,
much. You have no idea. Running from My Shadow is like one of my favorite songs. Every time I hear, it, I'm like, oh yes, yes, tell me more.
did you see he did something on Async a while back? He did a
Mike
music.
Shinoda did something on Async.
Yeah, Shinoda did this little record I have. That's not a Mike Shinoda one, but Async does this music project, and they have like it's called Async Music. You should look it up. Mike Shinoda did one a couple months ago.
Yeah, what I know from Async is that they are a very interesting a platform where they specialize in sort of like smart contract and NFTs, so into developing a very detailed, very accurate smart contracts for NFTs, but mainly on the Ethereum platform, right? They don't use Polygon. Yeah, so
Correct.
it ends up if you have to run several protocols, it ends up being a little bit costly, doesn't it?
Yeah, you'd have to pay gas on the different like mintings of like so that's like music tracks. I'm not like super savvy on how exactly it works,
Mhm.
but you can like mix your own mix of the music somehow. But yeah, I mean, I was on Async like whenever it was funny back when gas fees were like real cheap. None of us were we didn't really think about what would happen if they got expensive. So, but yeah,
And I feel that you have this special connection to music. I was watching an interview that Super Rare did with you, and you were like going around your studio, and then you walked in front of this amazing piece that we're showing right now. Is this something you've done?
yes, yeah, this is my piece. Yeah, this is I made this like 12 or 15 years ago.
This is mind blowing. So this is actually a picture. So people who will watch this video maybe cannot understand, but this reacts to music, right? So it's a
Correct.
physical artwork with the path that lights up and reacts to music, which is absolutely so cool.
Yeah, I saw this. I was meditating, and I normally don't really see anything. You just want kind of black and mellow out.
Mhm.
But this artwork popped in front of me, finished and glowing like this DMT colored walkway that you could never see on Earth. And I had to honor the vision. So I figured out how to make that whole thing. I'd never done anything of that sort, of that size. It was the biggest experiment. And yeah, it's hanging in my house right now. That's going to be a lineage piece. That one's not moving.
That's something I am absolutely intrigued by. So from what I understood of what you do is that you're very, very in love with the traditional art, physical art, but now you've taken this journey into digital, which has been an absolutely incredible journey from what I've understood for you. Yeah,
Yep.
revolutionary.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
And me on the other hand, I'm trying to see how digital assets, NFTs, can integrate with physical assets, like traditional artworks, but maybe even instruments of a physical experience, like an event, a location. My family business is it's mainly focused on real estate facility management, and now they are specifying themselves into the creation of experiences to make the ability of the clients inside a space to be more open, to literally transform the client from consumer to sort of like creator and owner of its own experience, which is absolutely amazing. And you mentioned async art. I'm a big fan of async art. I'm a big fan of Murat Pak, because what they do, it's very interesting. They create this smart contract art, and this really opens up a new possibility of art that's fully integrated within our experiences. And what you've done, this physical artwork, let's show it again. I feel that this is really the beginning, like the presentation of a possibility of something that can be done through this artwork, and maybe NFTs with smart contract can be a very beautiful bridge to it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, I made this before I knew anything about blockchain or anything, and yeah, it's absolutely true. Look, we can absolutely start bridging physical and digital stuff with contracts and things. And I would say, as I, it's funny because I was, doing physical art, and then NFTs started happening. So a lot of my just creative energy has dove into NFTs, just because art is art, but I found just a different avenue for creation, which was a lot quicker. Like, to make that piece took me like 200 hours or something insane. So very long time. Like, the process of doing that, the images on the back, it's called gel transfer. It's the most labor intensive process of all time. But it was part of it was part of how I had to make it. So that being said, that 200 hours on that, of course, it's physical and it's one of a kind in its own way. But with digital stuff, I realized that I could create more ideas in less amount of time. They're still the same idea. It's just manifested digitally instead of like on a canvas. Mm-hmm. So it allowed me over the years to like really kind of step up the amount of ideas I could get out there. Because back then I could do like 6 ideas a year, right? Well, no. I mean, on Super Rare alone, I think I have like 120 releases in 3 years, right? So, I could get 40 out a year instead of 6, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, I have lots of ideas bouncing around my head, right? And the more that stack up, the more like I need to get them out. So the digital has helped me just kind of flush them out and keep moving and keep making.
I absolutely agree with what you're saying, specifically in the niche of creation of physical experiences, something that people can inhabit. Right now, I'm wearing a shirt from a metaverse company, which is called Somnium Space. I don't know if you know it. One of my co-founders of Sewer Nation, which is this. So the physical events that we do them with this brand called Sewer Nation, and we go fund it. And so he's the only Italian man. He's actually 24, 25 years old, so it's very young. The only Italian to work in Somnium Space. We're very proud of him. And the cool thing about this is Somnium Space, all the metaverse spaces in a sort of sense, gave us the possibility, as you said, in a digital space to create artworks, to create experiences at a much faster rate, to manifest ideas much more quicker. But this is not to detach completely from the physical experience, perhaps, as the digital artwork experience that you're describing is not to be separated from the physical one. You're able to get out ideas and to manifest them more quickly in the digital space. But maybe this is also an instrument to help you into visualizing and practicing for something physical.
Wow, yeah. I actually have some Somnium space land. And I just love the metaverse. I think it's definitely where a lot of consumer or interactions. I think there's a lot that's going to happen in the metaverse. And being artists, we test out different ways to experiment in these places, maybe in different ways than a company would be in the metaverse. But I think there's so much unexplored value and opportunity in metaverses. There's several different ones out there. So it's interesting to try what each one is good at. And yeah, I really do a lot of experimenting.
If you're interested, I don't know if you've already built a gallery on Somnium or something like that. You said you have a land.
You know, I honestly I have land, but I have not developed.
Coldie, if you want, we've been developing projects with the Somnium team constantly,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and the Somnium team is super open. They have an incredible team of builders, and they've been working with Akatao. Francesco, this collaborator that I have, he bought an entire planet, because now Somnium sells parcels but also worlds, and he bought a small world, and he has a series of builders there. So if you want to do to see how maybe you work with 3D space art, to see that 3D space in a digital metaverse space. If you need some help, I can absolutely connect you with Francesco. I think he would love to make that happen for you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, no, it's funny. I have land, but I just got caught up in all kinds of stuff, and I bought them because I have a plot in most of the virtual worlds just so I have something. You know, who knows what will be useful where, but I wanted to have a little piece somewhere. So yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, we should connect.
Yeah, they're super advanced. I love how they are integrating all these different technologies. They're making their own VR headset. They have the Tesla suite for the full haptic experience. They
Cool.
develop gloves. Very, very interesting technologies on this space.
Crazy. I love it.
To track back to what you said about Robness, it's crazy that you and Robness have this sort of like a history achievement on Super Rare to have the $1,000 first artworks sale,
Yeah.
and you and him sort of like did that in tandem because he bought it at that price, but yet you've never seen him in real life. This is absolutely crazy. And in the other call with Robness, we sort of like tackled trash art, right? This movement that he created, and he talked about it as this sort of like mixing art. He did a metaphor between trash art as sort of like being a DJ, like a remix artist, for music, and collage art in a sort of way. I perceive it enters into this reality. So what I wanted to ask you is what do you feel like? Is Coldie a trash artist? Do you feel like you belong to this movement, like you represent it, or maybe there's something beyond trash art in your work?
I mean, I would not claim to be a trash artist. I'm a trash art connoisseur by all means. I collect. I have a pretty extensive trash art collection, and but I'm also a collage artist. So I think I'm a kindred spirit with them. But at the same time, they created a movement. Like there's that group of trash artists. I think in our history are going to be known as one of the first digital, crypto art movements, and that is very important. And like the meaning behind it all, it's very smart, but also they make it come off as very lowbrow and silly, which I think is brilliant. Right? It's like it's not supposed to be taken seriously, so don't take it serious. But then me as like a artist and a collector, I'm like, that's some serious shit that I love. So I definitely appreciate trash artists. And it's funny in the early days, I didn't really get totally what was going on. And
Yes.
there was a thing where they had this like program called Photo Mash, and I didn't know what that was. And what it is you take an image and you can throw it on the website and you hit a button and it instantly does this like crazy different effects, glitching and all this stuff. Well, I was buying trash art pieces, and in my brain, they took hours and hours and hours to make this glitch effect, and I was blown away. I'm like, wow, how are you making these effects? And then I found out it was on this website with like one click, and my initial response was like I was a little bit upset because what I thought the time or whatever value in my brain was happening was different than what they were creating, and we butted heads, right? Because I was like, ah, and they came back at me. They're like, ah. So we had this like little back and forth for a second, but then it allowed me to open up my brain and think about it and be like, okay, it doesn't matter the amount of time. I liked the art, and what I said was like, if you're making art and you're happy with it and it takes you 5 minutes, then that's great. But if you are just hitting a button in 5 minutes and you don't care about it and you don't love it, that's kind of where I put art from a creator standpoint. Is if you're making it and you love it, that's awesome, and I approve. But if you're just making it and you don't love it, then I don't really get down with that, right?
Yeah,
So
it's a little bit hard maybe to understand when an artist makes an artwork and publishes it and mints it, to determine how to understand if he loves the artwork or not. There's a possibility maybe to see if there's the soul of the artist behind, absolutely, but
yeah,
it's yeah. Tell
it
me,
was
tell me.
really funny, and like through that, I mean, I have collected I probably increased my collecting after that point. But like I love all those guys, and I just I actually need to make a trash art online gallery. I
When
haven't.
yes, and I want
Um,
to make a trash art physical gallery in the city. We've talked about it. Inside the event of the 17th of June, we have one specific gallery which is called the Gutter, which is in the dirtiest alley I could find. Laser projectors, and the coolest thing, in my opinion, is not even the gallery; is how you reach there. All the galleries of the day, we handle 4 different galleries. We give you the address. For the Gutter, we don't give you the address. We tell you
okay.
follow the homeless people, because
I love it.
yeah, we literally have like 10 crypto shards. So homeless people begging for money with signs where they say, "Please, Bitcoin. I lost my cold wallet. I need something."
Wow,
And
that
they're
is
like crumbs.
brilliant.
Yeah, and they're crumbs, and you follow them, and all of a sudden, all these homeless people are like leading you to this dirty alley where you see all these artworks. We're also doing some stencils. We're gonna glue up some paper artworks. It's gonna be very cool. And
Wow, that's very cool. When is that happening?
the 17th of June. It's
Okay,
pretty
okay,
pretty
that's the one
soon.
that's coming right up. Wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
we're making a full documentary of it. So it's okay. You guys are from the US, so if you don't make it, it absolutely makes sense. But I will send you the documentary. These interviews are also meant to extract some clips and maybe put them in the documentary. So it is also to thank you for participating. We are Sewer Nation, but who knows us? What have we done before? Absolutely, like in the international space, there's very few news about us. So the fact that people are trusting us, they see our vision and they come along for us, it means very very much a lot. And there's something else that you've talked about in some of your interviews, which to me sounds very, very much to the core of some of the conversations that are going on right now. You talk about, and you really care about the original history and culture of crypto art, right? And right now, in the last year, we've seen a massive adoption of NFT technology by the whole world of traditional art. Yet somehow, to me, this feels like cultural appropriation in a sort of sense. It's weird to define, but we have this reality where traditional art is entering the blockchain space, and it's sort of like using it as a new way to print artworks and to sell them. But there is not an actual influence of the tradition of the history and the culture of trash art of crypto art. Should there be an actual influence? Should these two worlds meet, or is the blockchain platform, is the NFT technology something that should not be considered as strictly correlated to culture and history of the crypto art movement? What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's kind of like two tracks. I think there's crypto art, which is all these things have like nuanced meanings to each person. To me, crypto art is artwork that references crypto or it uses like symbolisms and like meanings. Like this piece behind me, this Matt Cain piece, that is crypto art because it's
Mhm.
art that talks about crypto and Bitcoin and it's coded to interact with crypto and Bitcoin, right? So that's a direct crypto art piece, right? And then I think that I would call it blockchain art,
Mm.
like art that uses the blockchain as a technology layer and for a way to, distribute or sell as a mechanism, but it doesn't directly have anything to do with the culture of crypto art. It doesn't have anything to do with the history or, any symbolisms. It uses the technology, which is great. That's kind of the underlying value of all of this. right? And a lot of us, me and Rob and Matt and all these, list goes on and on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
Early adopters who made art that was also about crypto. I think there's two little separate camps, and I think that's okay. I think that crypto art is more of also kind of like a time capsule. If, a piece of crypto art I made in 2018 has a lot different meaning historically in terms of what was happening back then versus a piece of crypto art even that I made, today about crypto art. Things were different at different times. And I think as history goes on, when you look back at anybody's crypto art piece from 2018 or earlier, I mean, crypto art, let's be real, started in 2014, or at least blockchain art, right? Like it goes way back, right?
On
So
the Magic the Gathering platforms, collecting Bitcoin. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the Rare Pepe, Spells of Genesis, Rhea Myers did a piece in 2014. There is some very vintage stuff, and that, I know my place in the line. Like I came in, I would call it wave 2 of crypto art, where there was the OGs, your Rare Pepes, like we talked about, crypto graffiti. There's some crypto kitties, like, all right, maybe crypto kitties is where I started kind of, but there's so much history. And I think that in itself is, I would say that is crypto art, because there's a lot of it that references the movement and culture. It's like a time capsule versus basically like a technology layer.
I always speak with my perspective from Italy, because yes, I travel around Europe, I go to different conferences, but at the end of the day, I live here, and I'm very close to the space of crypto art in Italy, if we can define it as so. And we had this major museum open up in Italy. It was more than a museum; it was just like an exhibition, and it was called Dart. And the first edition of Dart, Robness was also exhibited in there, and it was actually the first time that I saw Robness in my entire life, that I saw his work. And there was also Homer Pepe exhibited in the gallery. What was interesting to me, and this is why when I speak with you, I tell you that I feel this sort of like cultural appropriation of the technology and the movement and the term crypto art from the traditional art reality. In the second edition of Dart, when they sort of like redid the interior design of the exhibition, they removed they removed the sort of like they removed the Homer Pepe, and they mainly introduced all of different 3D artworks and stuff. And to me, it was a very strong communication that they were doing. Where they were like, for us, a crypto art gallery, it's about exclusivity and class, and a Homer Pepe and a Pepe somehow does not fit this.
Interesting.
Yeah. When I speak also with representatives of the Italian Ministry of Culture, and now they're coming to me because what we're doing in Milan is culturally very important. They come to me and they say, "Oh yes, we should collaborate because I want to bring crypto art inside the museums and the galleries to make it more noble." And I was like, why are you trying to associate this with class, with noble? It feels like you don't understand the culture. This is my next step.
Yeah. And there is class in crypto art. And I think that's kind of where the two worlds are either going to come together or not. And if you really think about it, like half the art they're showing isn't noble anyways. They just call it noble. I think that's a little short-sighted. If you really want to talk about the artists who were making a bunch of this shit, they were probably equally more avant-garde than we are. So that's a whole different conversation. I'm not sure if they know what they're talking about. But I understand how you want to like put a bow on something and make it look professional and nice. Yeah. And there's a theme. Totally get that. I think that one of the cool things what I like about what you guys are doing is there's different themes, and like there is noble crypto art for sure. There's some very absolutely beautiful crypto art, right? And I think that's where curators, or I don't know what you would call yourself, a gallerist or curator, and you are able to digest what everyone's making and put that into a show. And I think that's something that's still new to this space, is the person who's able to put together a group of artists in the real world and have a show, right? And I think that museums want to do that, but they don't understand. Well, I think they do. They just don't know how to go about it in a way that makes them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that they've worked with like Sky Golpe. Do you know Sky?
Yeah, we tried to contact him for the Atelier Gallery, but unfortunately he's very busy right now. He couldn't
Very
collaborate.
busy, very busy. So, but that being said, museums start to have relationships with a single artist. I think it's everybody doing a little bit to help them understand what's possible, and by you doing it yourself, then people are able to look at what you're doing and learn, right? So, hats off to you for doing it. I think that it's like they call it the butterfly effect, where one person does one thing and you don't know how it's going to affect the rest of the world. It's all of us doing those little things that might not seem important to us, but the rest of the world is looking. And that is how these movements like pick up steam, and, bigger shows keep happening. And, it's just continually evolving that.
Mm-hmm. There's two things that me and my collaborator have been saying about NFTs and crypto art and how to exhibit it, which are now really my driving points. The first one was that we need to attempt as much as possible to bring the crypto art, the digital art, outside of the border of the four frames, and to actually be able to expand it to an experience. And the other one is to view crypto art, to view any sort of artwork on the blockchain as an artifact. It's very similar to the concept of me playing a video game, me unlocking something, and having this digital asset in the game. Now almost feels like I can unlock digital assets in my real life by buying NFTs, right? And to create this sensation where I show you an artwork, but I don't just simply show it to you in a plain natural environment. Maybe I define an environment that looks like the game level to obtain this artifact. To me, this is a very cool gallery narration that I would love to be able to continue exploring. For example, like one of your artworks, a Coldie artwork. Actually, to be more specific, the one that we will be exhibiting in Milan, Catcall. Let me add it here to our conversation. By the way, absolutely amazing. I love this piece. If it wasn't listed for that crazy amount of Ethereum, I would consider it. I am unfortunately still a very small artist, and I don't have the bag to bank this one, but hopefully we can find a nice collector for it. To see this as an artifact, you're already telling a story here through the color palette that you were able to demonstrate. Also, the area in which this character is already placed. I feel that something can be built around this artwork to really make it a piece of a puzzle, and therefore make the client that comes inside the gallery enter the space and have this experience, and then see the artwork and say, wow, all right, now this feels like the artifact that I have to collect, because this experience has completely immersed me. And this theme of immersion for you, it's very, very important as well, from what I've understood. You use specifically 3D art on your artworks to have this moment of capture of your audience attention, right?
Yep.
So, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about this. What types of techniques, what types of tools have you been using to try and capture the attention of your viewer, of a potential collector? And could you give any tips to visual artists to maybe how to develop original techniques as well along this with this?
Yeah, I got into making stereoscopic art back in 2008, and it was just something I just loved. It was like I grew up with the ViewMaster cards, where you put a little circle thing and you click it, it gives you 3D pictures. And I grew up with that as a kid, and just something about that magic of being transported somewhere, and it was like real life with depth. And I just really loved that as a child. And as I got older and I ended up going into art, I didn't consciously like think, oh, I want to make stereoscopic art, but it happened in so many magical little occurrences. So I learned how to do 3D photography, where I built a 2-lens camera, and you push a button and they go off at the exact same moment. So I started capturing photography in 3D, and then that led me into doing concert photography, We were talking about music. I have a nice archive of major rock bands in 3D photography.
What?
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
ever taken a picture of Chester?
You know what? I never got to shoot Chester. You know who I did get Chris Cornell. I have a couple Chris Cornell photos.
Well,
I know
then
they were good buddies. So I went to concerts all the time, and I ended up finding how to get photo passes for shows. So I started shooting all these bands. I have the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I have the Flaming
damn.
Lips. I have an awesome collection. I'm actually going to be releasing those as NFTs in the coming future.
Oof.
Yeah, pretty, in I think a pretty exciting way. I'm going to be doing bundles. So if you buy the 3D artwork, you're going to get the 3D glasses version. You're going to get the GIF that moves back and forth. Then you're also going to get the version that you view on VR. So when you put the
Oh,
goggles on, it's in full color 3D, like your whole face sees it, and like, dude, like that. I was just working on it yesterday, and like I am so excited because I shot these pictures, some of them 10 years ago, and I was basically thinking about the day when technology would allow us to view this stuff in VR, and I just kept shooting with that mantra. I'm like, this is cool. I mean, I'm having fun no matter what. It's fine. But in the future, right? In the future, we're going to be able to look at this in VR. And it happened, and you can do it. So my whole archive now is like VR ready. And oh my gosh, it's probably my most fond project I've ever done.
it sounds
And
awesome.
yeah, and oh, you're gonna be in New York. So I'm doing a screening where I'm basically doing a premiere of my collection
Ooh.
in a movie theater. On
Ooh.
Yeah,
Nice. When? What date? What date?
it's on Monday night, the 20th.
The 20th? Ooh,
Yeah,
I'm arriving in New York the 20th.
well,
So
yeah, it'll probably happen like probably later in the evening. So if you're able to make it over,
if you send me all the info, I would
yeah,
love to come.
absolutely.
I'll bring
Yeah.
also Francesco. So maybe if you have some time, if you shoot him some ideas of what you might want to do,
Yeah,
and
sure, that'd be great. Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm doing this premiere. I'm super stoked. So I do 3D concert photography, but I also do stereoscopic graphic design, which is kind of what catcall is. It's a photograph, but it's
Mhm.
also a collage, right? So what I did actually, my good buddy Roger May shot these photos back in the 80s. He was a super pioneer. And he loved 3D just like me. His subject matter was nudes, right? So he would set up these photo shoots, and he would do these nudes. And he passed away. He was like 65, and he passed away, and he left me all of his stuff, including his 3D, all these 3D photos. So I'm looking at these, and it just kind of like popped in my head, like, I'm not like one to like really, I'm not into like doing like pornographic art. That's not like my style. Like nothing against it. It's just not my style. And I was like, how can I kind of put a twist on this? So it's not like, if you really think about it, we're all animals, right?
Mhm.
Especially when animals don't wear clothes. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is like an animal. So I made a series of 3 that's called Human Nature, right?
Yeah.
Human and Nature, right? And so I put the animal heads on top of the bodies to kind of make it less about the person and more about the form of the
Mhm.
body, right? So as soon as you put a zebra head, there's one that's a zebra head, there's one that's a tiger, and there's this one that's a cat. As soon as you do that, and I put the faces on it in the correct 3D space, so when you put the glasses on, it's perfect. Like the cat face sits back where the face should be, and it's pretty damn real, at least in a silly collage way. And I love this collection, and I think that it's an early example of me doing stereoscopic photography. And I think that personally they go very well as a set together. So part of the reason that they're priced where they're at is a lot of times, like basically I would sell any of them singly, of course, but the opportunity to keep them as a set to me as an artist is a good opportunity. And I think that, that's when you're able to talk to a serious collector and you can figure out how they would want to keep the collection together. And because I get, in a gallery or something, that would just look so beautiful. And I love, the other thing is, that's why I love this piece in your gallery, is because 3D, you need to have the 3D glasses, right? And that's the whole point. And if it's in the gallery setting and there's glasses right there and you can put them on, you don't have to hope somebody owns a pair at their house. When they're at the gallery, it's going to be waiting for them so they can put the glasses in and enjoy it right there.
I actually have a surprise for you that I wanted to tell you during this live. What I did is I produced a series of glasses. I've seen that you've done this already, signing glasses, right? So we developed these 3D glasses. They're very cheap pair, the plastic one with the lenses, and we just added Sewer Nation per Coldie on the side.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, and we have this NFT which is called Out Pulci on OpenSea, which is a utility NFT that essentially it's the full experience pass. So people who come to our event with that NFT, we give them a goodie bag, all right? And there's 15 of these. So we have developed this 15 3D glasses as like a collectible item, and we've put it into the goodie bags of all the people who are buying the full experience NFT.
Wow, I would love to see one of those. That's awesome.
It's going to be a nice thing for them to keep, absolutely. And of course we're going to have like one more glass for the shared public. But I think that in general, crypto art, also CryptoPunks, made the 3D glasses like a fashion statement. So yeah, for me to have that fashion item inside the event and people to wear it, just like, it's fucking cool. And it says Coldie per Sewer Nation. So
yeah, that is sick. If you have any extra ones of those laying around, I'd love to throw them in my vault.
Absolutely. I'll bring it to New York for you. I'll keep one.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. And that's the thing is the 3D glasses. When I came in 2018, CryptoPunks had just come out, and I was so excited that somebody was doing 3D glasses. Like, to me, I mean, it's kind of random if you think about it. Like for them to decide that 3D glasses were important to have on the item, like that made my day. And I was able to get one. I have a 3D glasses punk. I really wish I had gotten more, but oh well.
It is. But, and then there's Rob who burns his punks.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah. Oh, geez. I had to transfer a punk, one of my punk recently to a different wallet. And that was the scariest transfer. Even after 4 years, like every time I transfer anything, I'm like glued and refreshing to make sure it went where I know it went. Like that's nerve-wracking shit.
So we talked about so many interesting things, and I hope you had fun. I absolutely had fun, and I learned a lot of things. I hope that this gallery can be maybe the first of many collaborations in the future. We're gonna meet in New York. I can't wait to be with all of you guys and to get a chance to steal some more of your time and chat. And I know that you have to go very soon. So I just wanted to know, you are inside another Twitter space later today. Would you like to advertise it a little bit so maybe we can get some people to go?
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'd also like to just get a recap of what you're doing so everyone knows what you're doing as well. I'm doing a Twitter Spaces, in about 20 minutes, where I'm talking about a new evolution to my project. It's called Decentralized Mashup. And basically I did an async drop where all the portraits that I've done over the years, they all kind of get jumbled into new portraits. And those were sold, it started in, I think it was December last year. And now they've all been collected, but I added an opportunity where people can either burn 5 of their collection of these decentralized mashups and get a special new version where I take one of them and I make it a 3D model. That's like a 3D sculpture. So I'm allowing people to upgrade to get these really rare, early VR pieces of mine.
Burning 5 to get 1, it also increases scarcity, so it's very good.
Exactly. Yep. So it shrinks down the collection as well. Yep. And then also there's another option. If you hold 5, you can participate in basically every 2 weeks, one new piece of a face shows up for you. And then over the course of 6 months, it builds an entire face of a new one.
Nice. Wow. All right. This is the type of projects I really love. I love this gamification. I love this immersiveness of the project. You're absolutely you know what you're doing 100%, both on the physical artworks and the digital ones. The way you handle your collectors, truly an amazing expertise that you're showing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun and yeah, no, I geek out on this shit. Like I grew up in art galleries, and I just love art, And I think any way that we can make it more fun is like, why not? That's why we're all alive. Let's just have some fun here.
Absolutely.
All right. And tell us. I mean, I know, but why don't you let people know what you guys are doing as well?
Most of the people who follow my profile are up to date, but of course what we're doing is we're Sewer Nation. We are a decentralized autonomous organization, at least we're trying to become. We have these 50 memberships, which are called passports. You can find them on OpenSea. They are Polygon NFTs because we believe that the Polygon chain is building very, very good NFTs for governance systems, and we would love one day to be able to have a completely, fully decentralized governance system. With this DAO, we are trying to create experiences and events to promote crypto culture and crypto art through galleries and events. So far, we've done 3 events, and now in Rome, and now we're doing one more in Milan, which is the biggest one we've done so far. It's a diffused event on 4 different locations, 4 different galleries, each one different, each one with different themes, each one with different objectives, to allow all the different people that live on the blockchain ecosystem to come together, meet, and celebrate what they hold dear, which is this new technology and the new opportunities that it's creating. We absolutely love the opportunity to work with some of the amazing artists that have been reaching out and contacted us, from Robness to you to Federico Clapis and to Matchlag, Escalator, and many others. So it's going to be absolutely amazing. And to me, for this community of the Sewer Nation, this platform more than community, because we're trying to build a platform, this is a very cultural and historical big event, and we can't wait to deliver it. A lot of people are excited. We do a lot of Twitter spaces, and people are like, I'm coming all the way from Naples, from the other side of Italy. This is very important to me. I feel like this is they call it a manifestation, sort of like, cool. I finally get the chance to sort of like appear, And this is also why we call ourselves Sewer Nation, because it almost feels like we've been hiding in the gutters, in the drains, and now we get a chance to shine. One more thing I would like to ask you very quickly is, since we're going to be editing this video into some clips, if you could just, every time I ask this, I put people on the spot. If you could say hello to, in general, Sewer Nation, sort of like, say something about it, like, Robness last time was like, Sewer Nation, something like this. If you can put your spin on it, whatever, just to say hello to the platform.
Just a hello.
Yeah, hello, Sewer Nation, or something like, good job, Sewer Nation. Sewer Nation, keep going, something like that.
Oh, man. I haven't had enough coffee for this. All right. Hey, what's up, Sewer Nation? This is Coldie. I'm super excited to be part of the Gutter Show. Come out to the alley and let's check out some crazy trash art.
Thank you so much.
Does that work?
It was absolutely, man. You could have been silent and been like, I'm Coldie. This is Sewer Nation. You know what to do. All right. Thank you so much, man. I know you got
of course.
This was absolutely amazing. I hope to be able to do this more with you in more informal ways. One thing we should absolutely convince Robness to do is a Twitter space altogether. I think that'd
be super fun. Yeah. We all know each other. I think we'd have a good time.
The last one that he did with FOMAMAG, I think, was absolutely amazing. He represented the spirit of traditional culture and history of crypto art, and the vibes were absolutely on point. I can't wait to see more of that on the space. So
I totally agree. Yeah.
Let's organize it. All right. Thank you so much.
Cool. And of course. Yep. Have a good evening. Take care. Peace.
Peace. Fairly good.